Thanks for tuning in to EDC Journeys. This is my impromptu review of the Bestech Fanga. Hope you enjoy. If you do, hit the thumbs up button and consider subscribing. What's going on, EDC people, and what's our journey today? You know, I'm not even really sure. I have some spare time, and a lot of times I do clips of videos kind of out of order, just randomly whenever I have the inspiration to, and then I piece them into the film. So this is one of those impromptu videos. Let me start by saying this, and I think I've covered this in a couple videos. I am going to start stopping and grabbing some of the knives that are hanging on the shelves at the local stores, at least in my local stores, which, you know, that means not much because there's not much for options. These were the two knives that were on the shelves: the Gerber Quadrant and the Gerber Asada, as far as decent knives. You know, they had the Milwaukee and everything, but whatever. The Asada comes on ball bearings. I think it's steel ball bearings. You know, it doesn't want to flip. You have to definitely push it down hard. It's clearly a cleaver style. It's got a wide backspacer, which actually I have found I kind of enjoy for deployment because I can put my fingers on it and it won't. And this overstop, which is surprising to see on a knife of this price point and being just on a shelf. So where I lay my fingers to deploy, so long as I use the thumb or the finger, I always mess that word up. The thumb, the flipper tab, Bob, the flipper tab. That is a flipper tab. So long as I press with enough force, it will come out. And actually, it's fairly sharp out of the box. What's the blade steel? Well, why are you asking? It's coming from Home Depot or Walmart, and it's definitely 7CR. It's nothing to balk, or it's nothing to be excited about. But this is the type of steel that you're going to find at the store. You know, at those types of stores. 8CR would have been better. This is 7, so you get one less CR. Now, this knife, though, the Quadrant, I have to say I hate this knife. I liked the idea of it. I wish I liked it because I kind of liked the bamboo. I cannot get it to flip open, whatever, no matter what I've done. I've tried to break apart the Loctite because it is definitely a round pivot. It, you know, just spins on both sides. So I've tried to break the Loctite and I can't do it to loosen the pivot, which is, I feel, what I have to do. But they must have put a hell of a lot of red Loctite on, because, you know, permanent Loctite, because it was tight. But I can't flip it open no matter what. Now, if you use your wrist, obviously you can get it open. But look at the stop bar, and I have tried to bend this. Okay, it's hard to see. I'm trying to use the natural light. It is almost nearly 100% right out of the, you know, and that's, again, this is after me having stretched it out. You have to push this with such strength to get it past it. I'm trying to show you. That's how hard I'm pushing on that. And I have a pretty, you know, tough finger, you know, calloused thumb. So to see that, anyways, if you see this on the shelf, despite the fact that it looks so cool, it does not get my recommendation. I don't like it. Yes, it's the same steel, but if you have a choice between the two of these, go with this one. Not that the style is anything like what this one is, right? They're both very different, but at least on this one, the flipper tab works. The detent is terrible. Obviously, you know, you have to kind of use your finger to push it over. But you know, it has the added extras like the detent, or the over travel stop. It's got the aluminum anodized body, stainless steel. It's got the wide pocket clip. It's actually comfortable, and even utilizing that forward choil is great. If you don't utilize the forward choil and you're cutting up cardboard, it definitely gets caught in there. you have to, it's best to use that usually when you're cutting something like cardboard. Yeah, so this is a Gerber. That's a Gerber logo. It's got a stone wash. I'm basically ignoring the quadrant because it really ticked me off. I'm sure this is the number for what this is. So if you want to take that down for some reason or another, but is this a recommendable knife? I wouldn't go order it, but if I needed a knife and I went to the store and these were the two choices, I'm telling you, you'll be happier with this one. I believe one of them is $10 more than the other. I think one is 20, one is 30. If I had to guess, this would be the 20, this would be the 30. If you can do it, go with the 30, spend the 10 extra bucks. You're going to be in the long run much happier with this knife than this knife. If this is any example of what this knife is like. Okay? I mean, I know it kind of has a cool kind of Japanese-ish looking, it's got the bamboo. It's got potential, like it could have been. I'm not sure the blade style is exactly the most usable, but whatever. I had high hopes for it. I really did. And I might still try to dink with it on the weekends or something. But this is what am I doing here? I'm also got a dentist appointment that I have to go to relatively soon, and I'm having massive tooth pain. Plugged to Oragel. One second here. Use it if you can't get to the dentist beforehand. It helps, even if you have to use globs. Okay. Alright, so we'll talk more about that. I will review this knife. I will not review the quadrant. I will review the Asada and give it its time and spotlight. But really what I wanted to show you wasn't these. I keep bringing those up as teasers. I'm going to use those for after I get through. Well, maybe, I don't know. I just get these weird inspirations to start videos. But my plan is to go through Lee's knives, the ones that he sent me to take a look at first, prior to looking at more knives that I have here that I can use at any time. Because I'm sure Lee would love his knives back. And the sooner, the better. This knife is from Lee. It's a long knife. It is really much cooler than I thought it was when I first saw it. I didn't give it much of a second glance when I looked at it, but holy cow, it's the Bestech Fanga. It's got like this G10 what's the word? Carbon fiber, like, I think what they do is they mix it together and then they mill it down. They contour it down because clearly the handle is contoured. And as they do that, it reveals either the G10 or the carbon fiber. This one's clearly the blue variant. I also didn't think I was going to like the pocket clip. I mean, I like the fact that it's titanium and it looks, it's anodized, so it looks cool and it comes that way. Although, would it have been cool if they did the thumb? I always call it a thumb stud. The flipper tab as well? Maybe not, because then down here it goes with the blade. Alright, where am I going with this? Or maybe the pivots. Well, they did do the surrounds. Maybe if they did the whole pivots in that color. Anyways, I'm getting way ahead here. Black, is it FRN or G10 backspacer? We don't know. We don't care right now. The clip is long looking, but it's slender in hand, so I don't feel it. I mean, I do feel it, but I don't feel it in the sense that it would hurt. Do you know what I mean by that? I can feel it in my hand just fine. I mean, I know where it is, but I feel no hot spots on it. And the surprising part is it's kind of got some spring to it. So it goes in and out of pocket really nicely. If I haven't mentioned it in all of this yet, this is the Bestech Fanga. Here's the Bestech. Their logo is like a sticker, and it always collects whatever I wipe. Anyways, whatever. See how that has like paper towel or something? Bestech knives. It's got this cool long fuller, goes the extent of the blade, clearly a clip point, so we've got a semi-fragile tip. It's beefy, but it gets to a point where it clearly is thin, and it does come pretty much straight grind down to a beautifully thin apex. Let me see here. Let me grab some of my measuring tools. Okay, first off, we'll do the weight. This is a long knife. I wish I gotta put the camera up higher so I can actually give you a better idea of how long this is. Or I could just measure it, that would help too. Okay, in ounces. 4.7. It's actually a little heavier than I thought it was. Maybe because it's extended all the way, it doesn't feel so bad. But it is 4.7 ounces. And 133, say 134 grams. So it's under 5 ounces, but it's still heavier on the heavy side for people. But a lot of that is that blade, and the blade itself is D2. But, you know, Bestech does a pretty good job with their D2 from what I understand. The blade is perfectly straight. You clearly see that there's steel liners exposed, not nested. And they are skeletonized a little bit, not a whole ton. So they, well, actually they did on the show side, but not so much on the clip side. Well, anyways, whatever. It is got some weight relief in there. I know I'm about to measure it, but check this out. You can deploy it with either push. I can't even get this on the. Let me try to go sideways. That's the push, or a light switch, which is where the jimping is, which is not aggressive at all, but that's where that is. In fact, it's almost slippery. But the pivot location of, you know, in relation to where that flipper tab is ideal, because I mean, I could fail it on purpose, but if I intend to flick that out, it's coming out. What was I getting at? Oh yeah, and I can flick it. You can do the Spidey flick or the reverse flick, whatever you want to call it. You know, you can do it up higher, where the hole is, where it looks like you're supposed to do. You can also thumb roll it out. Yes, but with that fuller and being so long, it's definitely easier to flick way down lower. But you just have to give it some oomph. Okay. Let's talk about some more measurements before I lose track of everything. It is, at least according to my measuring tape, which is hopefully the same as yours, 9 1/4, it is nearly 9.5. I mean, it's arguably 9.5 inches. Maybe just under 9.5 inches. What's the blade? The blade is a solid 4. Four and an eighth, maybe. I'm trying to make sure that my thing is lined up right with the tip. Yeah, I would say 4 1/8. Although I'm terrible with measuring tapes, so do your own if you want to verify. Which is why I use a Play School ruler sometimes. It's not really Play School, but 4, and it is see-through, which is kind of nice. I'm trying to go to the longest point. Yeah, I would say almost nearly 4 1/4, measuring with the ruler and getting in that full length. It's a long knife. It's slender and long. It's comfortable in hand. That contouring is awesome. It's got tons of grip on that carbon fiber G10 mixture. You know, it's so hard to show this open and okay. I do like the liners being exposed. I'm trying to decide, would I have liked them to shadow box it? No, I don't think so. And I don't think well, maybe nesting them would have been a better idea just aesthetically. What do you think about that? Do you think that it looks better with the liners showing, or should they have nested them? And I realize that's a further cost, and maybe they didn't want to go there, but I'm just as an opinion. The Bestech Fanga. I like this blue too. If I was going to order it, I would get it in this blue. I will put the price. I don't have it, but I will look it up and put it down here somewhere. If I recall, I think it's somewhere around $100, but I could be wrong. Let me look it up and put it down here for sure. Let's see here. Yeah, I love the ways, the forms that. Ooh, of course. No, it's perfect. Don't worry. I love the forms of deployment you can get with it. I love the fact that the flipper tab is big enough to use and get that full thing out, and it's not overly large underneath. You know what I mean? Like, it's big, but it needs to be that big to get that big of a blade out as far as I'm concerned. Looking at the choil, it's clearly like a 3/4 finger choil. I can creep up there, no problem. People with large fingers might have a problem with that, so be careful. And otherwise, clearly, it's easy to sharpen. And this is the kind of grind that I try to talk about all the time, where I always say the ricasso, or I don't know if it really is the ricasso, but the grind itself, I'll just say the grind for the sake of it, is all the way back here so that you have as much room to sharpen as you'd like. And let me tell you, right, maybe it needs a little strop at the tip, but it's a sharp knife, and I'm sure I don't know if it's out of the box this way or if Lee has touched it up at all or what, but either way, it's sharp, it's cool, it's Bestech. I'm really surprised that it's a clip point. That's what makes it kind of unique. I'm surprised to see a clip point in a blade like this. Typical drop point, yes, I would have expected. A spear point maybe, but I definitely did not expect a clip point, and I like it for that reason. It took me a minute to like it, at first. Perfectly straight. Yeah, let's check out that stock thickness. Well, let's do the handle first. So 0.62. Now, so that is larger than, thicker than an average everyday EDC, where I say 0.5 or a little higher than 0.5 is average. 0.6, what did I say? 0.64 nearly is going to be larger, but remember, it's highly contoured, so it's only at that 0.64 for a very brief period of time. Here's what it looks like when it's closed. That clip goes right in. That's not a sharp point right there whatsoever. It's nicely crowned and rounded. The jimping is not hard at all. I mean, it tells you where your thumb goes, but it's basically just there for either decorative or to tell you where to put your finger. It's not going to stop your hand. At least it's not my hand. Okay. Yes, I've had coffee this morning, and I'm going all over the place because it was Death Wish, which I will include pictures of in the end. So 0.15 inches. I don't know why I do that. I don't know why I do inches and millimeters, but okay, so the stock is 3.7 millimeters. It just makes more sense to me to measure something smaller in millimeters. So 3.7 millimeters at the stock. I'm not good at doing it behind the edge, but I can tell you it drops really fast. It's a flat grind, but it's fast. It goes right down to an acute edge, and I would not want that little clip point to get me, and it definitely wants to. Looking back at the choil for a second, is there even a place to grab it? Hello, can I use my caliper, right? 3.7, so nearly 4 at the beginning of the plunge, and I can't measure that. I mean, it goes so fast if you can see it. I don't remember what I was talking about. The plunge looks good. Be careful if you creep up. I can do it with my finger size. Look at that pivot. Standard looks like T8 to me, but not going to disassemble. Love the pivots around. Love how it matches the backspacer. The pocket clip. I've got to start using words in the right areas. It feels firm, especially with that backspacer. You've definitely got a good purchase on it. I could definitely see doing some precision cutting, some, certainly any cardboard or anything. But if you're doing any type of, what's the word I'm thinking of, like X-Acto kind of cutting, yeah, that would certainly be a perfect tip for it. Clearly it could be used as a hunting knife. Obviously hunters know and are careful when they use clip points because they don't want to puncture where they don't want to. But, obviously hunters do find a place for clip points in their life because, hey, look at the buck 110. That has to be the definition of a hunting knife, and it's a clip point. So, the Bestech Fanga. I'm not sure if I like the steel exposed on those or if I would rather them nested. It gives it a look, but if it was nested, would it just be too dark? Would you lose some of the mystique of it? I'm not sure. The fuller, I appreciate. Some people are going to complain and say that it gets in the way of cuts. I don't know. I don't know what you're cutting, or how much you're cutting of it, or if it really is a problem for you. If it is, I'm sorry. I like it. As far as just EDC, flickability. I'm sure that's a word. So that's Bestech Fanga. And this wasn't really supposed to be a total review of it, but I've essentially gone through everything. So I suppose I will make this the Fanga review, but this was not my intention when I started this video. I think it looks really nice. Let me give you a close-up of that G10 carbon fiber. Let me put the blade away so I don't cut myself. So you can see the milled lines through it. Also gives it a great texture. Let's see. You can hear my daughter playing her games with her friends in the background. God, I can't wait for COVID to be over so that I can get her outside and doing things with people. Yeah, it definitely has grip. I don't know if every knife is going to be like identical, or I'm assuming that the mixture is going to be different, and so amongst the different knives. Sorry about that. Like if you bought this blue one and compared it to this one, I think that it would be different looking. You know what I mean? Wouldn't you imagine? So in pocket, it's nice and curved to the right, which is nice. You do still have that big bulbous thing, but at least there's no sharp points on it, and it's not too bad. And it is kind of tucked away. Like you have this slide, and you have, I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say. You have this side where it arcs so that it's in your pocket. This is the seam of your pocket, and that flipper tab is really out of the way. Now, if it's gonna, I wouldn't put it in the same pocket as my cell phone, but there you go. What do you guys think of the Bestech Fanga? And let me take this mic off for a second. Also, and I don't have the mic on me now, but are you a fan of Death Wish coffee? The world's strongest coffee. This is medium roast, whole bean, so it's got to be ground. You can get the ground coffee though if you want to. I just think it's more fresh this way. if you grind it at home, right? So they are not affiliated with me whatsoever, but I've seen several other EDC people seem to be into it. I had no idea when I started drinking it, but it's actually my mom who got me into it, and it's really a great energizing coffee, which you can tell by the review I just did, because I probably was talking 100 miles an hour.
Just won't stop.
Thanks for tuning in to EDC Journeys. Hope you enjoyed the overview of the Bestech Fanga. If you did, hit the thumbs up button and please consider subscribing. Have a great day. I do have one more thing to say about this, and bear with me as I just lost 3 teeth, so I probably sound quite different at this point. I think I've made reference a couple times to the fact that it's perfectly centered. I do love that long pocket clip. I really didn't think I would at first, but take a look at the action, and you know how I've been complaining about G10 on pretty much every knife lately. If you push the the liner lock over where you're supposed to, you're over the G10 ball when you should be. Isn't that miraculous? So you have great action, and that's all I'm going to record, or else I'll embarrass myself with all gauze in my mouth. Anyways, I just thought I should point that out, considering I have pointed it out every time it's a problem. I should point it out when it's good. What a cool knife. Oh, I have to bring up one more thing about the pocket clip. Yes, it's titanium, it's cool. I sound funny with gauze in my mouth, but take a look at its deep carry. There's no screws underneath. You have all that room. It's springy. It fits really nicely. It's just got that one screw that I believe probably goes through or to the back spacer. I don't know. Anyways, that's it. That's all you get to laugh at me and my voice about. But I wanted to show how deep carry it was. That's all it's going to stick out of your pocket, and that's perfect.